We've seen some pretty bizarre NFL careers over the years, but perhaps none as weird as Nick Foles. Foles wasn't a high-ranked recruit coming out of high school and attended 3 different colleges before being drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles in the 3rd round of the 2012 NFL Draft. Foles managed to take over the Eagles starting gig, but later found himself as a backup on the Rams and Chiefs while mulling retirement. Then, Foles won a Super Bowl MVP with the Eagles after dueling Tom Brady. Yeah, this man is crazy. First of all, guys, please do subscribe if you enjoy the video to make sure you don't miss any future uploads. It really helps us out and allows us to continue to make content for you guys. Nicholas Edward Foles was born on January 20th, 1989 in Austin, Texas. He attended Westlake High School, where he was a 2-year starter for the Chaparrals on the gridiron. He also started on the basketball team for 3 years and was named the team MVP twice. Foles had some national attention for his play on the court as well, being recruited by Baylor, Georgetown, and Texas. During his high school career, he passed for 5,658 yards and 56 touchdowns, both of which broke school records that were previously held by, wait for it, Drew Brees. Another prominent name to attend Westlake was one of Foles' old teammates, Justin Tucker. Foles was a 3-star recruit and considered the 27th pro-style quarterback in the class. He committed to Arizona State University, but later decided to opt to attend Michigan State University. Foles ended up only staying with the Spartans for 1 season, appearing in a single game against the University of Alabama Birmingham with 57 yards. He decided to transfer to the University of Arizona, where he redshirted his first year. Foles started the following season as the backup for the Wildcats behind Matt Scott. Scott was benched early in the year in favor of Foles, who went on to go 6-4 with 2,486 yards and 19 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. He returned as the no-doubt starter as a redshirt junior and excelled early, as the Wildcats started off 7-1, including an upset over number 9 Iowa. He dealt with a knee injury later in the season and finished 7-6 with 3,191 yards and 20 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Foles impressed as a senior, leading the Pac-12 with 352.58 average yards per game. Finishing his final year in Tucson, Foles had 4,334 yards and 28 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. Ahead of the 2012 NFL Draft, Foles was an intriguing prospect, expected to go anywhere between the 2nd and 5th round. He came out of Arizona with the perfect prototypical quarterback size to go with a strong arm. One of the biggest aspects of his game that intrigued most scouts wasn't a pure talent, but his intelligence. Foles was great at reading defenses and understanding what was going on in a given play. This translated well and helped him with his incredible decision making. At the draft, the Philadelphia Eagles selected Foles with the 88th pick in the 3rd round. Foles surprisingly got playing time as a 3rd-round rookie, taking over for the Eagles after Michael Vick went out with a concussion. Foles retained the starting gig and finished the season with a rough 1-5 record to go with 1,699 yards and 5 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. The following season, Foles and Vick had a training camp battle that saw Foles get the backup job under new head coach Chip Kelly. However, Vick dealt with a hamstring injury that pushed Foles back into the spotlight. Foles started his first game of the season in Week 6 and dominated the Buccaneers while being named NFC Offensive Player of the Week after passing for 296 yards and 4 touchdowns. Then, in his 3rd start, Foles won NFC Offensive Player of the Week once again after tying the NFL record with 7 touchdowns. The Eagles went on to win their first NFC East title in 3 years after defeating the Cowboys in the season finale. Foles finished the regular season 8-2 with 2,891 yards and 27 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. That's the best touchdown to interception ratio in NFL history. Additionally, Foles was 3rd in the league in passer rating. He made his first career Pro Bowl as a result. Foles saw a bit of a step back on the field in 2014 with 2,163 yards and 13 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Despite still compiling a 6-2 record, Foles was traded away to the St. Louis Rams in a trade that fetched Sam Bradford. Foles signed a 2-year, $24.5 million extension ahead of the 2015 season. The contract was ultimately a flop for the Rams as Foles struggled with a 4-7 record along with 2,052 yards and 7 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Due to the struggles, Foles was benched during the year in favor of Case Keenum. In the offseason, the Rams took Jared Goff with the 1st overall selection at the 2016 NFL Draft. Foles was really upset by the selection and requested and was granted his release. Foles mulled with the idea of retirement following his release, but signed with the Kansas City Chiefs ahead of the 2016 season. He appeared in only 3 games for the Chiefs, winning his only start and passing for 410 yards and 3 touchdowns. After a short stint in Kansas City, he found himself as a free agent. His career came full circle as Foles found his way back to the place he once called home in Philadelphia, this time in a role to back up Carson Wentz. Wentz had a career season before going down in Week 14 with a torn ACL. Foles was thrusted into the spotlight and remained the starter for the NFC East winners. He finished the regular season 2-1 with 537 yards and 5 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. From there, the true legend of Nick Foles was made. The top-seeded Eagles had a first-round bye before facing off against the Falcons in the divisional round. The Eagles won the contest 15-10 for their first playoff victory in 9 years. Then, in the NFC Championship game, the Vikings didn't have a chance. Despite being a 3-point underdog, Philadelphia dominated on both sides of the ball and won 38-7 to set up a Super Bowl 52 matchup against the Patriots. The contest featured little to no defense in an absolute shootout. It all came down to the wire with an Eagles victory that was ironically remembered by the iconic Philly Special, a play where tight end Trey Burton threw a touchdown pass to Foles on a late 4th and goal with less than a minute remaining in the half. Trust me guys, as a Patriots fan that was watching that, I felt so confident going into that game that Tom Brady and the Patriots would definitely be able to beat a backup quarterback like Nick Foles. I was wrong, and I still remember that day very vividly. Thanks, Nick Foles, for giving me more nightmares than Eli Manning has. Philadelphia rocked the underdog masks and took over the football world. Foles had reached the peak of his success in his career so far. 1 year after almost retiring, Foles was named Super Bowl MVP. That's absolutely crazy. Foles and the Eagles revised his contract for 2018 to have a $2 million bonus and incentives if he were to start again. Wentz, dealing with an injury, missed the first 2 games of 2018 as Foles remained the starter. Wentz took over in Week 3 and went 5-6 before suffering a back injury that caused him to miss the remainder of the season. Yes, again, it looked like an almost exact replica of 2017 as the Eagles won out with Foles at the helm to clinch a wildcard spot. Foles went 4-1 with 1,413 yards and 7 touchdowns with 4 interceptions in limited play. In the wildcard round, the Eagles visited the Bears. Despite the stellar Chicago defense, Philadelphia escaped with a 16-15 victory after Foles led a last-minute touchdown drive to Golden Tate to put the Eagles ahead. The Cinderella story, however, ended the following week in the divisional round after the Saints took care of business in a 20-14 win. After more end-of-the-season Foles heroics, somewhat of a quarterback controversy came about. The Eagles picked up the $20 million option on Foles' contract after the season, but Foles informed the Eagles that he would exercise his $2 million option to void their option and become a free agent. Foles signed a monster 4-year, $88 million deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 2019 offseason. What an absolute disaster of a contract that was for Jacksonville. In Week 1, Foles suffered a shoulder injury and didn't play again until Week 11. In the meantime, 6th-round rookie Gardner Minshew took over the starting role and took the NFL by storm. Foles surprisingly got the starting job back when he returned from injury, and after losing 2 straight games and passing for 93 yards with an interception and 2 fumbles against the Buccaneers, he was benched at half with the Jaguars down 25-0. Foles went 0-4 with 736 yards and 3 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. I really hope that was worth $88 million, Jacksonville. The writing was on the wall after only 1 game for Foles in Jacksonville. In a move to pass the reins over to Minshew for the future, the Jaguars traded away Foles to the Chicago Bears for a compensatory pick. Foles competed with Mitch Trubisky for the Bears starting job in training camp before being named the backup. Trubisky started the year rocky, and after not seeing any playing time in the first 2 weeks of the season, Foles came into the game in Week 3 against the Falcons after Trubisky was benched, with the Bears down by 16. Foles, of course, being the magic man he is, led the way for a comeback with 188 yards and 3 touchdowns to an interception as the Bears won 30-26. He was named the starter after the successful week before passing for 249 yards, a touchdown, and an interception in a poor performance loss to the Colts. On Thursday Night Football, Foles continued his miracles after leading a game-winning drive with less than 2 minutes remaining to down the Buccaneers and again Tom Brady. Foles finished the game with 243 yards and a touchdown to an interception. The Foles back and forth career continues, and Nick Foles forever remains in the nightmares of Tom Brady and me. Safe to say that the career of Nick Foles makes literally no sense whatsoever. Foles was overlooked at every level and managed to win a starting job with the Philadelphia Eagles. After his career looked to be over as he contemplated retirement, he won a Super Bowl MVP. I mean, like, who is this guy? Foles' career is a true story of perseverance and, well, total weirdness. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed, and if you want to stay up to date with Jackson and I, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We love interacting with you guys and appreciate all of the support. Bye guys.